Hey everybody, Off the Mic Sports Network. We're heading towards the debut of Friday Night SmackDown on USA. Big match, obviously, is Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. And I've been thinking about this, and there's been some chatter over the internet, specifically in the aftermath of NXT, where the first match on the show was Street Profits versus Axiom and Fraser for the NXT Tag Team titles. And lo and behold, out comes Jacob Fatu, out comes Tonga Loa, out comes Tama Tonga, and here we go. The Bloodline's in NXT. No Solo Sikoa. Obviously, they got to protect him to some degree and not going to NXT. But the common denominator and the common, conversation point was, oh my God, these guys look so much better than Solo Sikoa. Now, let me be clear. I actually like Solo Sikoa. I just think he is being put in an impossible position, and he is just not ready for prime time. He's relatively young. I think being a top heel, you have to really, go there. And he was literally just kind of, thrown into the position as the proxy tribal chief, because ultimately I think this is all the doing of The Rock. But Solo has been really hard to buy into as the tribal chief. And a lot of people are going to surmise, he'll have his inevitable match with Roman Reigns and he should win. I'm going to take this the other way. And I'm going to tell you guys, hey, the assumption is on SmackDown that Roman Reigns is going to screw Solo Sikoa out of the WWE Championship, because there's no way in hell Cody Rhodes is losing. So I think it's going to lead to a Roman Solo match of some kind. Or who knows, maybe they drag this whole thing out to Survivor Series War Games, where you get OG Bloodline versus Bloodline 2.0, and Solo's leading one team and Roman's leading the other team with the reunited Usos and Sami Zayn, so on and so on and so on. And that's what we're going to get at War Games in Vancouver. I think whenever this ends, it could be at War Games, it could be at Bad Blood, it could be whenever. I honest to God think it, for the benefit of this storyline and keeping it fresh, I would basically do what the Judgment Day did with Edge and just get Solo the fuck out of there and put him back in the Bloodline. Put him back in the OG Bloodline. Because at least at that point, he's in a perfect position as the enforcer. And he's even said to Tama Tonga about that Ulafala, if Roman is able to get this from me, I will acknowledge him as my tribal chief. So I think at some point in this story, Jacob Fatu has got to be the leader of this thing before, obviously, the inevitable point is revealed that Rock was behind this whole thing to begin with, and he kind of just, did his own bloodline, and it's going to start off this massive feud with Roman Reigns, which any of you arguing that we were robbed of Roman Rock at WrestleMania 40, guys, we're going to get a story that's about 100 times better than what we got, or we're going to get in Philadelphia. We're going to get it in Vegas, hopefully. Some people are saying it might be at 42, wherever the hell that is. I hope it's not. They need to do it next year. But the point of this thing is really, I think for the benefit of everybody, I think everybody wins in this scenario if Solo is excommunicated from the OG Bloodline, not the OG Bloodline, the Bloodline 2.0, and Jacob Fatu, who is clearly a bigger star than him. Hell, even Tonga Loa, who has sort of a cult following, has some aura around him. And this is just Solo's fine, but it's just he's not a leader. He just doesn't project himself as a leader. He is trying his damnedest, but it's honest to God, it's a big failure on the part of Triple H. It's not working. It's not registering with anybody. And what hammered it home for me was that moment on NXT where he's not there, and you've got the Tongans, and you've got Jacob Fatu just wrecking shop over everybody, and Solo's nowhere to be found. And you're like, God, what the hell does Solo Sikoa add to this? Nothing. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's just not built to be a leader at this point in his career. And who knows, maybe that's not who he is. But he has been put in an impossible position, and I think for the benefit of everything involved, hell, you could even do this quicker and, have Solo lose to Roman at Bad Blood if you want to do that. I don't know how likely that is. And Roman Reigns ultimately goes over, and maybe Solo acknowledges him, or he goes back to the Bloodline. He looks immediately weak, and Jacob Fatu super kicks him in the face. They beat the shit out of him. They put him through a table, and Solo Sikoa at some point down the line reunites with his brothers Jimmy and Jay and Sami Zayn, and obviously Roman Reigns and the wise man Paul Heyman. By the way, happy birthday, Paul Heyman. So the reality of the situation, it's really simple. I just don't think there's a whole lot more legs underneath this storyline with Solo Sikoa as the leader of the Bloodline, or whatever this makeshift Bloodline that they have made. The guys surrounding him are just more intimidating and better than him. It's even Tonga Loa, because Tonga Loa knows his role. What's the saying? Rock says, know your role and shut your mouth. That's what Tonga Loa does. He doesn't say a word. He just goes out there, looks intimidating. He's kind of terrible in the ring, but he knows what he is. Solo's really just projecting himself as something that he is not. And it's just glaring. It's been glaring since WrestleMania. It was able to be okay because Paul Heyman was there. But since Paul Heyman was taken out of the storyline in that incredible segment at Madison Square Garden, it's really... there's been a lot of cover-up in a lot of these situations. Jacob Fatu has done a really good job, with making that situation, with making with making Solo look better. But yeah, Solo's just been picking up a bunch of cheap wins. He's getting all the help for him. It's nothing like Roman Reigns. It's just nothing. And they're trying to recreate this, and it's just not working. So my proposal is, I think Solo should be out of the Bloodline 2.0, and he should probably go back to the OG Bloodline. I don't know if that'll happen in time for Survivor Series, because here's the other thing that hasn't been mentioned. There's a couple people, well, at least Hikuleo, who we've seen on AEW television and in New Japan. He's signed to a WWE contract. That's been reported for a while. There's also Zilla Fatu, who's been doing shop and wreck and shop on the independent scene. That would make a ton of sense. That you could, honest to God, throw either one of those guys, or both, into the OG Bloodline in place of Solo Sikoa as he goes back over there. Or hell, maybe The Rock does something. And maybe The Rock's back sooner than we think. And he is revealed sooner rather than later as the leader of this defector Bloodline 2.0. So it's going to be interesting to see how this storyline plays out. But again, that NXT thing just really made everything as clear as day. I've been kind of in denial about it because, in the end, I really do like Solo. There's a lot of good things. If you watched some of his early stuff in NXT when he had a solo run, that was no pun intended, he was really good. He had a character. He was the street champ, and there was a lot of mystique and really interesting stuff around him. But ever since he came up as part of the Bloodline, he's been kind of stripped down of any semblance of a character, and he's just this big, intimidating dude. And on some level, it worked when he was Roman's enforcer, but now that he's the tribal chief, it doesn't work, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. So I hope that that's the route that they go, and I think part of me thinks that they realize that this is the route that they need to go, because Solo was already kind of undermined in the build to this championship match on SmackDown on Friday night. Cody Rhodes wanted to give it to Jacob Fatu. They know what's going on here. There's no reason you insert that into a storyline or insert that on the television if you weren't at least thinking about it. So here's hoping that they actually tackle that. We'll have a lot more great content, wrestling content here on the channel. Obviously AEW and WWE talk wrestling. We talk sports. Hey, I've had some Browns takes. We'll have NFL conversation, college football conversation, a lot of exciting stuff here on the Off the Mic Sports Network. Follow us at OT Mike Sports on Twitter. Follow me at Off the Mic 28. Thanks. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Love you guys. Appreciate the support. See you soon. Bye-bye.